What's up, guys? Welcome back to One More Guitar. I hope you had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. My name is Kyle, and I got a new guitar for us to check out today. I picked up a Gibson Les Paul Studio. I went to Guitar Center over the break to get a Christmas gift. I had no plans to pick this up, but it was hanging on the wall at a really good price, and I couldn't pass it up. But the guitar is filthy, so we're going to have to open this up, clean it up, and see what we've actually got here. So let's just jump right into this. While I unpack this guitar, let me tell you how I ended up with it. I went to Guitar Center to get a Christmas present, and when I walked in, they had a new display of guitars that I've never seen before. So when I was walking out, of course, I stopped by to check them out, and I saw that they had this Studio. And I looked at the price tag and saw that it was less than half of the cost of a new one. And I was like, man, that's a really good price, but I'm not here to get a guitar today, so I'm leaving. And I walked out, and I came home. I thought about it, and I talked about it, and I looked it up, and all of a sudden I started wanting one, of course. So I went up there the next day to get it, and it was gone. And I thought, oh man, somebody already snagged this. It was a really good deal. I don't blame them, but that sucks. So I came home, was kind of bummed about it. A couple nights later, I get on their website to see what their used inventory is, to see if there was anything else I wanted, and they still had it on there. So I called Guitar Center and was like, hey, where's this guitar at? And they were like, we don't know. So they looked around for a while, and he said that he'd have to call me back. So eventually, a few hours later, I just went up there and I found it sitting in the same spot. So I don't know what happened there, but ended up picking it up, and this is what I got. An ebony Les Paul Studio. Now the question is why was it so cheap? Well, I have a couple theories on that. First, let's take a look at the finish. If you look in the shadow of where my camera is, you can see some spots. And I didn't notice this at first, but when I started moving around, I saw all these spots on it and, a little bit of smudging and stuff. And then I really started paying attention to how filthy the guitar was. I noticed that the headstock was covered in dust and that there was a layer of dust underneath the pick guard. So I feel like that's probably the condition that this guitar has been in for the last little while, and maybe somebody tried to clean it up to sell it. And maybe that's where all these water spots came from. So I'm hopeful that I can get it cleaned up, but we'll see what we can do with this. Before we start cleaning, let's take a quick look at this case. You can see it comes with one of these kind of hybrid gig bags that Gibson and Epiphone have been putting out. It's kind of a soft case on the outside with a firm interior. And this is kind of a leather material that it comes with. The bag's got plenty of padding and it feels safe to me. And then this piece here seems to have some kind of support underneath it. So I like that about it. This is my first time checking out one of these Gibson bags. It's also got a neck rest here with a Velcro cover, so that's nice. And the bag feels good. I feel like it's a secure bag and it's going to take care of the guitar. Take a look at the back. You can see it comes with these backpack straps. Again, they've got this leather material on them. Got the Gibson logo. And I really like this feature here that you can disconnect the straps from the side of the bag and tuck them into the back of the bag so they don't flop around. That's pretty awesome. So when I bought this guitar, I asked the guy at Guitar Center if it came with the gig bag, and he said it did not. And I said, man, that's really part of the value of this, right? And so I was kind of hesitant about it. And he said, well, let me go to the back to see if I can find it. So he starts looking around in the back, comes back and he says, man, we don't have a gig bag for it. But we do have another gig bag back there for a Studio that I think we sold. So let me go look around, see if I can find this guitar, and if not, you can have this gig bag. So he starts looking around for the guitar. He comes back a few minutes later. He says, man, I can't find it anywhere. And I knew I hadn't seen another Studio in there, so he came out of the back room, brought me the case, and so I feel like that they priced this guitar to be without a case, and I might have gotten lucky enough to get it with the case, so I definitely feel like I got a good value for this. So let's check out what's in the bag. We've got the Gibson multi-tool here with a polish cloth. We've got a Gibson strap. Got the manual, the warranty, inspection card that we just looked at a second ago. So this one does not come with the multi-tool, it just comes with an Allen wrench and the truss rod adjustment tool. And you can also see that it comes with somebody else's baby photo. Alright, so let's try to get this guitar cleaned up. I need to take the strings off, remove the hardware, and then I probably need to take this pick guard off because we saw how nasty it was under there. Next, I'm going to take some Ernie Ball instrument polish and see if I can get some of the funk off of this guitar. I'm not sure if it'll get the water spots out or not. We might have to use something stronger, but we'll see how this cleans it up. Unfortunately, that didn't remove the spots, so we're going to have to pull out the big guns. Somebody gave me a bottle of Esteban guitar polish. So let's see if this helps out at all. This says to put a layer on and let it dry for 5 minutes and then to wipe it off. So let's see if this helps. Well, let's see how we did. Unfortunately, in the right light, it looks like you can still see the spots. I was hoping the polish would get it off, but I guess it didn't. I'm wondering if there's anything else out there I can try. But I'm not going to sweat it too much because, like I said, I had a really good deal on this guitar, and maybe this is the reason why, but you can only see it when the light hits it just right, and it kind of looks like a sparkle finish when it does hit it, so at least that's what I'm going to tell myself. But no worries there. If we flip it over and take a look at the back, you can see that it's also got a little bit of buckle warming back here, some impressions. I still can't decide if somebody actually played this guitar or if they just took really poor care of it. I mean, it's only a year old. There's one particularly bad scratch down here towards the bottom of the guitar. I didn't notice that at first. Again, just comes with used guitars, I guess. Alright, while I'm at it, I might as well go ahead and polish up the frets and condition the fretboard. Just go ahead and get this thing as clean as I possibly can. Oh yeah, we can't forget the headstock. That thing was pretty dirty too, so let's go ahead and clean it up. I should probably check the truss rod too, just to make sure everything's okay with that. Like I said, this guitar is only a year old, so it should be fine. Well, while we've got the guitar on the table, let's go ahead and take a look in the control cavities. You can see that this is one of the models that comes with one of the circuit boards in here. And some people like that, some people may not like that. I've heard that it makes pickup swaps a little easier, but I've never done that on one of these. I kind of prefer the traditional way myself, but there it is. We can take a look at the switch. Really not a whole lot to see or talk about here though. I did notice that this switch wasn't centered when I was playing it in the store, so I'll get the pliers out and get this centered up here. We'll also take a quick look under the pickups here real quick. This should be the 490R and 498T set. And there's the 490R in the neck. You can take a look in the cavity here. It's hard to read what that says because it's so dark, but I think it says EB, so that probably stands for ebony. Alright, let's take a look under the bridge pickup. Should have 498T. And that's what it is. And again, it's hard to read this. I think that says LPSTU. I can't tell for sure. Maybe there's another letter there. Can't really tell. It's kind of cool they try to put it in gold though. Well, I ended up having to set the guitar up too, but I'll spare you from having to watch all that in this video. But I definitely messed it up when I was polishing the guitar. I kept running my hand across the post for the tailpiece and the bridge and ended up lowering them both down pretty far. And then my dumb ass, when I was taking out the pickups, I accidentally turned the pickup height adjustment on the neck pickup instead of the pickup rings. So I have to fix that too. Alright, now that we've got this guitar cleaned up and set up, let's see what it sounds like. I'm going to start with some clean samples, and I'm going to go through the Blues Junior for this because I got everything set up for that amp, and I've been playing through it a lot lately, so that's what we're going to go with. And we'll start up here at the neck, and just here's some clean sounds from this guitar. Alright, this guitar also has some push-pull pots. And when I was looking it up to see if it did coil splitting or coil tapping, I found that it actually does coil tapping. And I also found this video put out by Gibson where Mark Ignicio says this.
This guitar features 4 of Gibson's Quick Connect 500K audio taper pots. 2 of which are push-pull. Your volume pots for the neck and bridge pickups will pop out, turn these humbucking pickups into P90s. Give you the best of both worlds, single coils and humbuckers.
So that's pretty cool. When you pull the knobs out, they've modeled this after a P90. So let's test that out a little bit. We'll pull these out. We'll start back up here at the neck and we'll go full humbucker just so you can hear what that sounds like. And then we'll pull it out. That sounds pretty close to a P90 to me. Hey, that's pretty cool. All right. Alright, let's check out the bridge. Go back in, go full humbucker mode. Alright, we'll pull it out. Alright, so that's pretty useful. We'll see what it sounds like when we add some gain and stuff like that. The neck pickup might be a little bit muddy in that position, but we'll check it out when we've got some dirt on it. So let's go ahead and go back to humbucker mode and throw some dirt on this and see what that sounds like. I'm going to use the D&M drive for this, the D side. I like that. Back on the neck, full humbucker mode. Alright, let's check out the middle. Alright, let's see what these pickups sound like with the coils tapped and with a little bit of dirt. We'll go ahead and pull the volume knobs out here and we'll go back to the neck pickup. And here's what it sounds like clean for reference. Pull a little dirt on there. Not bad. Let's check out the middle pickup. And dirt. Alright, in the bridge pickup, here's clean for reference. Some dirt. So I don't think they sound exactly like P90s, but they're pretty close, and I feel like that's usable, although it might be just a little bit muddy on the neck pickup. But otherwise, sounds pretty good. Alright, now that it's clean, let's take a look at it on the table and go over the specs. So obviously Les Paul's solid body guitar, but this does actually have Gibson's modern weight relief in it, and that just helps with the weight. But it is still a mahogany body with a full maple cap. The finish is gloss nitrocellulose lacquer, and this color is ebony, obviously. The controls are pretty typical for a Les Paul, but this does come with push-pull pots on the volume controls, so you can get some coil tap sounds. So that's pretty cool. The bridge is a Nashville-style tune-o-matic bridge, and it comes with a stop bar tailpiece. For pickups, this guitar comes with the 490R in the neck and the 498T in the bridge. It also has 22 medium jumbo frets, a rosewood fretboard, acrylic trapezoid inlays, a 24 3/4 inch scale length, and a 12-inch radius. It has a nut width of 1.695 and it comes with Grover Rotomatic tuners. You can see the Les Paul silkscreen here, and you can also see that the Gibson logo is a silkscreen. That, along with no binding, are some of the things they do to make this guitar more affordable. Alright, let's take a look over the back here. You can see this one scratch that I mentioned earlier standing out pretty well, but the rest of them you can't really see unless you get the light just right. It has a set neck joint, which is typical for Les Pauls, and the neck profile is the slim taper profile. I tried to take the pickup readings, but because this is on that circuit board, I'm not getting good readings here. I'm getting 48 in the neck. Don't think that's right. Alright, we'll check the weight. It's 8 pounds and 8.6 ounces, so about 8.5 pounds. It's not too bad for a Les Paul. That weight relief helps. Now I want to throw together a jam so you can hear what this guitar will sound like in the mix. I'm not sure what I'm going to come up with yet, but I have to say this guitar is really drawing the rock out of me, so I got a feeling that's where we're going with this. Let's check it out. Alright, let me give you my thoughts on the Gibson Les Paul Studio. I have to say I'm really impressed with this guitar, so let me go over some of the things that I really like about it. First of all, I'll start with these pickups. You've got the 490R and the 498T, and if you've watched the channel for a while, you may remember that I had these pickups in an SG before, and I liked them, but I didn't really love them. They sounded a little harsh in that guitar, maybe because they were uncovered, I'm not sure, but I really do like the way they sound in this guitar. They're a little more modern than the stuff that I typically play, and I feel like, you know, maybe the bridge is a little bit hotter, but they sound great, and they sound especially good for rock stuff to me, but they sound great clean too. So really enjoying these pickups in this guitar. And another thing, I think that the coil taps sound pretty decent in it. For the neck pickup, when I was playing it by itself, it sounded a little muddy to my ear, but when I did it in the mix, it didn't really sound that muddy to me, so maybe that was just, you know, my ear playing tricks on me, but you know, the bridge pickup, on the other hand, I really think it sounds good with the coil tap. Another thing I think it's cool about this is, like, say for example, if you're using fuzz, you know, one of the things that's fun to do with fuzz is turn it all the way up, get really fuzzy sounds, and then, you know, roll it off and clean it up. It's a little bit harder to do with humbuckers, but when you have that going on with this, you can pull this out and clean it up really quickly. So just something, again, that's very useful about this to me, and I thought that was cool. Another thing I like about this guitar is it's really lightweight for a Les Paul. The weight relief that they do in these things does really help out. It's very balanced, it sits comfortably on my leg. You know, I've mentioned that before with the Les Paul Standard that it likes to fall, but this one's a really comfortable guitar. The neck profile is also really comfortable. It's a little bit slimmer than what I have on my 50 Standard, but it's comfortable to me. It's not too thin or anything like that. I like the Grover tuners. I'm sure all of you are familiar with those, but you know, nothing to complain about there. And overall, you know, this is just a comfortable, fun little rocking guitar, and I like it a lot. As far as this particular one that I picked up, you know, it's kind of a bummer that it's got a little bit of water spots kind of stained into the finish, and you know, we've got some rash here on the back, but you know, it just comes with buying a used guitar, I suppose. But I will say that if there's anybody out there that has an idea of how to get these spots out of the finish, please leave me a comment, because I would love to try to clean this up a little bit more. But I think it looks pretty good, and you can't really see the spots on the camera unless you're in the light just right, so not too bad. As far as the neck goes without being bound, you know, I like a bound neck, but it hasn't really affected my playing or anything like that. It doesn't bother me at all, so you know, no issues there. And for the headstock, you know, of course it would be better if it had a mother of pearl or some kind of, you know, pearloid inlay in it or something, but I'm good with the silk screen. I know that that's one of the things that they do to cut the cost on this guitar, so that's cool. So overall, yeah, I'm really happy with this guitar. I think it was a good purchase. I've had a lot of fun with it since I've bought it, and you know, I'm going to play on it for a little while and see what we can do. The only other thing about this guitar is it does raise a couple of questions for me. Like, how does it compare to the Epiphone 59, and how does it compare to a Gibson Les Paul Standard? Is this guitar worth nearly twice the price of that 59? And is a Standard worth nearly $1,000 more than this guitar? These are things I'm kind of curious about, and since I have all three, I'm probably going to make some videos comparing these guitars just so we can see how it all works out and how they compare to each other. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, you might want to hit the subscribe button so you can check those videos out in the future. But other than that, that's pretty much all I've got for today. I really do appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. Please remember to hit the like button if you liked the video, and until next time, take it easy and keep playing.